Hello there, Padawan learners, Jedi Masters, and lore legends. Welcome to the Bendu Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of the Bendu Podcast, where we seek balance in the Force. I'm your Woman 7, and we have your other hosts, Nate Johns, Josh, and Nightcrawler. What up, guys?
Hey.
Hello. So I was trying not to laugh in the intro because of Josh, because guess what he's doing right now? Can you guess?
Got like 3 minutes left in the show. Credits rolling yet?
Hang on, we got 4 minutes and 35 seconds. I'll be with you shortly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I just want to finish this great episode of Visions.
Yeah.
I hope you don't treat Book of Boba Fett like this when it comes out.
No, of course not. It's not cartoons.
Oh.
15 to 20-minute episodes.
Yeah. They'll be a little longer, a little more meaty.
I will make time for yeah.
Like you did.
Speaking of making time, we should make time for all the housekeeping. Where do we want people to go to hang out with us, Mule?
Oh, yeah, man. So a couple of things. We just put out one of our first more long form videos out on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Mulehorn Gaming, where we actually did like the 2017 Darth Vader comic. I'm going to try to go through all of those. There's like 22 issues, but we got the first one on there. And so I'm excited for you guys to like it, because I did a little bit of voice acting and things like that. And then, you know, we have Trax over here saying that he's trying to find Ray's mom. So
mission accomplished, baby. You guys said it before I did.
You can go in this description below. We got our Discord link, the Mulehorn Gaming Discord, where we talk about everything, video games, Star Wars, you name it. It's really fun. Really, really fun. But tonight we got a couple of random Star Wars questions we're going to talk about that I think are going to be kind of fun. We also have Josh's random Star Wars facts. We're going to talk about this bad boy that I recently bought, which is The Secrets of the Sith. I forget some of you guys that are listening to us audibly don't see my camera. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. There's some really cool lore in there we're going to go over. A rumor with the Kenobi TV series, another one. And then, of course, we're going to wrap up with the twins from Star Wars Visions. We're going episode by episode. So we're going to talk about that as well. So, since Josh is still watching Visions, I'm just going to go off on this. I'm going to go off on this book right here. This book, though short, is eye candy. If you're a Star Wars fan, The Secrets of the Sith is eye candy. It is super cool. And I had to make a dog ear on one of the, not a dog ear, but like a.
I was saying, don't do that.
I put like a little thing in here, because I wanted to show this. This is for Josh. Look, it's Ray's mom.
Go that way or that
Over
way.
a little bit.
Little more. There's Ray. Little more.
Keep going.
Keep going.
There we go. Oh yeah, our camera's different than what we see on YouTube.
It's Ray's mom. Okay.
It's Ray's mom.
All right. Yeah. Ray's mom. Finally.
Yeah. You finally get to see her. There she is in the book, and it's really cool. Like this book has a lot of really cool lore.
Is there a narrative kind of to it, or is it kind of just excerpts of stuff?
It's basically like the Emperor kind of narrating it from his perspective, talking about like the secrets that he knows of the Sith. Like this is when it could have been Rey as the Sith instead of a Jedi, which is really cool. It has the double-bladed lightsaber, which, Crawler, I think you have the... See, that book right there that you're looking at, the Book of the Sith, is not canon.
Yeah, I'm pulling out Book of the Sith, because isn't it like Luke's narrative of reading it, right? Because these are legends. They aren't canon anymore.
Yeah, that book is the Emperor as well, like his perspective and all the other Sith's perspective. And it has segments of like the Mandalorians from Vizsla and in there and things like that. But this one is all canon, so it's really, really cool. One of the things
does the Emperor reference his Nike sponsorship?
He does. Do it. I want to show you guys this right here. This is what I thought, like we were talking about before the podcast, we wish was in the movie. You can see Snoke and kind of some of the Sith cultists that are following the Emperor. And we finally find out in canon why Snoke was made. And he was originally supposed to house the body or the spirit of the Emperor. Like, that would have been so cool to know.
Wait, he wasn't just some useless character that nobody knew anything about?
No. He was
I don't
so much.
believe it.
There
He
was
had a
so much
purpose?
buried in the book before Force Awakens about why the Resistance is a thing, and Akbar and Leia had to go form the resist. Like, none of that was in the opening crawl. It's just kind of this is happening, and they botched the sequels.
Yep.
It was it was an ill-hatched plan that they built the car as they were driving it.
Plan.
Let me read you this, because this is kind of interesting, because it makes Snoke a little bit better. Like, it kind of makes things a little bit better because you actually get some filler in here, kind of like how Clone Wars made the prequels even stronger. It says, pulling the strings. My new body's deformities were severe, unable to leave Exegol. I would have to spread my influence across the galaxy through less direct means. As part of this genetic experimentations, my followers had attempted to create another being that came to be known as Snoke. Although his body proved unworthy of containing my dark essence, Snoke's natural sensitivity to the Force would make him a powerful puppet nonetheless. Though my
Josh has a
manipulation...
question.
Yes, Josh.
Do you think Snoke's actually Rey's mom's dad?
No. He was going to be kind of that. Kind of. I guess kind of, Josh. Wow. You actually said something very profound there. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's actually kind of profound. Because the one clone that works that wasn't Snoke was Rey's dad. And he was not force sensitive. So that's why Palpatine like did away with him. And of course, you know, you have Rey's mom and then they have Rey. So it's like,
Why did Palpatine let him live?
I think he was supposed to be killed. Ochi, that's what Ochi was supposed to do. He was supposed to find them, but he went into hiding. And Ochi tried to track him down, which if you're reading the 2021 Star Wars comic books, you see more about Ochi and who he is and how he is basically an agent for Vader and later becomes an agent for the Emperor and things like that.
So does the cloning of Snoke take place on Exegol, or is Mount Tardis going to come into play here in a little bit?
It doesn't say, because like, yes, Josh, you have your hand raised.
So did I think I worded that wrong then. So was Snoke's Rey's dad's dad?
Snoke
Because
could
it
have,
sounds like her mom was just like, "Hey, baby, the Emperor's my dad," or
Brother's brother from a different
His-
tube.
yeah, it's
so-
like the clones. They're all brothers.
Brothers, uncles,
Yeah.
former roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that kind of what we're? Because weren't we all under the impression, based on the last movie, that Rey's dad was Palpatine's son?
Rey's dad was Palpatine's
Yeah.
son. Yes.
So what they basically made him, he's not like an exact clone. Like that's what Rey's dad is, an exact clone of the Emperor. It's just when they did do that, he was not force sensitive. So that's why the Emperor didn't put his essence into that clone. So
When did we find out it was a clone?
in this book,
Well,
like it talks about it.
is it not addressed at all in any of that stuff? I'd have
In
to
the movie?
watch
I
Last
think-
Jedi, or not Last Jedi.
I'd have to watch it a second time.
Jeez, you guys are hard to please.
Rise of Skywalker, because that's where you see the clips of him, right?
Yeah, but it's interesting because like he's not like the cloning process wasn't complete with Snoke. So like it talks about how he was considered what's called a strand cast or strand casting, where they basically keep modifying the clone's body.
No wonder he abandoned his kid.
And is it like the Emperor's clone of himself was Rey's dad. So technically that's Rey's. So Palpatine is Rey's granddad. So it's just weird, man. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like his uncle.
That family puts the dis in dysfunctional. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it says, here's what Rey's dad, it said, just as I shunned the inferior child spawned by my flesh, he shunned his father and the ways of the Sith. So he didn't want to inherit the Sith or anything or hang around, so he went on the run. So
Have you seen Exegol? Like the view out the window isn't that great.
yeah. So,
And how do you
anyways.
escape exile?
that is something. I mean, it was
Well,
Maybe
Palpatine's
Rey's
flesh.
mom rescued him, and
Well-
then they hooked up.
Well,
Maybe.
we
He
also
was
have
like
we also have that book that we were talking about last episode where Luke and Lando find Exegol or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe they can expand on that story a little bit later.
I mean, who knows, man? But it's like, this is okay. I'm gonna stir some feathers with this. There's a part here, and it says, "She is a Palpatine."
Well, whose feathers are we stirring? Like,
Some
duh.
people are like,
we
"She's a
know that.
Skywalker," because she says
Well,
she's Rey Skywalker.
Self-identified as a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Josh Skywalker.
You just did it.
So, in the book, it does say she is a Palpatine, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd
She is.
be able to.
She's
say
a
that.
Palpatine by blood, a Skywalker by choice.
Yeah. So,
But
anyways,
the fact that your dad came out of a tube and we have no idea where your mom's from,
yeah,
I don't. That's sketchy at best.
yeah.
You know? Because I mean, as a failed clone, does even deserve a last name? Her last name is probably like 0.7 or something, like -259.
CT
Like
11111111.
Yeah,
Like
we call her
the other-
Finn.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
the
we
other-
need. We need a story of Rey's dad, how he escaped.
An origin story. Yeah. Jeez. But this is something that I thought was really interesting that I wanted to show you guys that was like really like it kind of changes some of the lore up. So the last Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker, we actually learn about this dyad, right? Like a dyad of what Rey and Kylo were. But this is what's really interesting. I'm going to show you the art if I can real quick for you guys that are watching this on YouTube. You can kind of see it right there. That's the dyad. And you see how they're all red like Sith? Well, guess what? Come to find out that the dyad was a doctrine of the Sith, which is crazy to think about. So I'm going to kind of read this little segment here for you. Kind of
He was
explaining.
also an annoying boss in Halo 5. Just
Yes, he
throwing that
was.
out there.
Yes.
Oh wait, that's the Didact. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It says a dyad in the Force. There are a few secrets of the Force I have yet to master, but our Order's ancient prophecies speak of one fabled manifestation unseen for generations, a dyad. This pairing of two beings strong in the Force, linked together by an unbreakable bond, creates a power as strong as life itself. And then this is where it gets really interesting. We actually have Bane come into the lore here. It says, two are one. For a millennium, the Sith have adhered to the rule of two. But this decree is said to merely be a pale imitation of its predecessor, the doctrine of the dyad. Legends claim that two beings sharing this profound connection gain access to a great number of abilities, skills beyond the grasp of even the most powerful Force wielder. Members of a dyad were believed to be capable of transferring their life force to heal others. Some could even pass physical objects through time and space in an instant. If two Sith were bond so deeply as to transcend their physical being, the power could unlock together with no limits. So that's, I think, why Emperor was like super shocked when he was like, oh, dyad, But apparently it's a Sith teaching, the dyad and the Force.
I don't know.
So
if I
many more
necessarily
questions now.
Let's talk
I
about
read
it.
it as just the Sith teaching.
But
I
they
think
said it's
something
like,
that occurs in the Force, but when it happens to a Sith, they're that powerful, and that's what all Sith want to be. So it's not necessarily that it's just a Sith thing. It's
I can
just,
see that.
and because remember, the voice of this is the Emperor.
Yeah.
Emperor.
That's
And
true.
it is Sith, so that you got to take that into account. And there is, I was looking, a Jedi version of this book too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to find it.
Secrets
yeah.
of the Jedi.
Okay.
And I need to know, is there like a mulehorn.com/books that has links to all these Star Wars books? Because
I think our
I really
Amazon
hope so.
store link below has a bunch of these books that Crawler was showing, like the
The Book of Lightsabers is really cool.
yeah, it has all those in there.
And then yeah, the four pack of books that I had is like the Bounty Hunter Code, the Book of the Sith. There's something, I don't know what it's called for Jedi, but it's something. And then I think there's a Imperial Code book, I think, as well.
yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get that Jedi one then too, and we'll have to check it out.
It looks like it was just released with just like the Sith one.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go on Amazon and put that
I
in.
was saying I have the Art of Mandalorian season 2 on pre-order because that comes out in December.
Can I bring a what if into the conversation?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what if Rey's dad had not been a failed clone and they together formed the Dyad, and then it just said directed by George Lucas? Like that would be it.
Oh my god!
Like the meme you posted today. Execute Order 66. No, directed by George Lucas.
No, but I mean for real though, like it seems like if they had been, do you think they would have formed? This is the question. Do you think they would have been a perfect match, or do you think they would have been?
He wouldn't have. No, he
I'm
wouldn't
in
have.
charge. No, I'm in charge.
No,
Like,
he wouldn't have kept him around. He would have assumed his body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Emperor was looking for a body to put his Force essence into. It's basically the old school Legends Force transference, like the Emperor did in Legends, where he just kept...
What happened in Legends at Mount Tardis, pretty much.
Yeah, like he just keeps transferring his essence to another clone, and Luke finally was like...
That was a what if from Legends. What if it didn't work?
Yeah.
So if Rey's dad had been a perfect clone of Palpatine, that means the Force, all the metachlorians would have had to have gone with
Not
it,
necessarily.
Right?
That's why they said it's very hard, like, to clone a Jedi. It's almost impossible. So that's why
the Force sensitivity is dependent on the metachlorian count.
And it's not guaranteed because he was not Force sensitive. So, but Rey, on the other hand, was very Force sensitive and basically had the potential to be another Palpatine.
And the key is her mom.
Her mom, exactly.
Who was a Skywalker that was from Uncle Owen from a past from high school. And that's
Owen's not a Skywalker either. He's a Lars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He
can't forget.
He stood up and looked at the moons and was like, I'm a Skywalker.
Don't forget Panda Jedi too.
Wait, maybe after he married yeah. Also a kid, Shmi, was that really her name?
Shmi.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, isn't that the guy from Hook?
What about
Like-
Shmi? It is. Oh my gosh. It is.
Sorry about
Josh,
that.
you're blowing my
everybody.
mind tonight, dude.
I know. But yeah, I mean, they could have said like, oh, she had Anakin of the Force, but then her and Lars had a kid.
Yeah.
That
Maybe Qui-Gon's Force Ghost came and paid her a visit.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
I mean, you don't know what them Force Ghosts can do. Apparently, they can grab lightsabers in real life like Luke did. They can manifest like a physical form. So, yeah.
But this is, I mean, I don't know. This makes that stuff more. That makes the last movies more interesting. Finding out more of these details. you
Yeah,
know?
which they were just lacking on. Like they're having to build backwards on this because the story is so disjointed.
Yeah.
But it also feels a little bit like, couldn't you guys have thought about this ahead of time? Like, where was Filoni during all this? Why wasn't he like raising his hand? Like,
Maybe he wasn't in that role yet. I mean,
No, he was. No, it was Kathleen Kennedy trying to run the ship and too busy trying to pull J.J. Abrams off of Star Trek. And then he didn't want to do the sequel, and that they just had no continuity, no story drawn out, no continuing plot points that they wanted to hit on, and
yeah.
I mean, Force Awakens has glaring flaws that it's just we don't know a lot of the backstory at all. It's a rehash of New Hope. It's the fact that the planet is Ilum and it's not really described. The fact that they blow up the core planets of the New Republic and they don't even really talk about that at all, and the amount of genocide that just took place.
Yeah.
There's lots of glaring just problems with that movie.
Yeah.
Abrams lost. Don't forget it.
Dang.
Don't forget it.
Dang. Yeah. So you wanted to talk about that you mentioned before the podcast. What's this new rumor?
Keep talking, but see, every time he freezes, YouTube freezes.
YouTube freezes too.
Oh, did
Yeah.
it freeze? That was weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What's up?
So
We're
I said,
back.
okay, Crawler, you found this other rumor out. So what was this other rumor about the Kenobi series that you found on the internet?
Yeah. So we were talking about not having a lot of news, so I was just kind of poking around the internet today, and I think this is fairly new as of yesterday or day before.
Yeah.
But Kamal Nagiani, who has been in a few of his own movies and other things in the past, and is now coming out in Eternals here in just a few weeks. Disney likes to keep it incestual and keep handing out roles to the people they worked with before. He's apparently has an unnamed role in the Kenobi series, so it's not clear what he is, what he could be doing. But I believe this came from him, that he is in the Kenobi series, which I believe has wrapped. I think they're in post production now. So that's exciting that we're getting more big names that could potentially lead to just more characters that we get to explore in Star Wars.
What do you think
and
he
said
would
it
be
was-
doing?
I don't know, but he said it was something. Let's see, where's the quote? This is like a new version of a type of Star Wars character we've seen before.
Okay.
So it's something we haven't exactly seen yet.
And this is like a new version of a type of Star Wars character we've seen before.
Probably Thrawn's dad.
I don't think so. Thanks, Josh.
People's eyebrow. He literally, he just went, "Can you smell what the mule is cooking?" Like the people's eyebrow just came out.
Started twitching with my eyes too. All right, so let's move on to random Star Wars questions, and we got some cool ones here. Josh, you want to lead with yours? You actually found you contributed a very good question to this series, this like segment. So, what was your question,
Okay.
sir?
Well, this is I'm gonna do a surprise one first, and this I think only two of us on this panel will know about these things. I think based on age. Crawler, what was the first Star Wars toy that you remember seeing?
Seeing the 90s Kenner stuff, probably.
90s.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Nate, how about you?
Probably that Ewok village. You know
So
what I'm talking about?
from the 80s.
I think so. I didn't say I owned it, but that's the first one I remember seeing.
I mean, I probably saw that in like a Sears catalog once upon a time, but yeah.
Sure.
I think
Okay.
a friend had it.
Yeah.
Mule, how about you? What's the first? I mean, it doesn't have to be specific, but like,
was-
just the kind of, I'm trying to figure out the time
snow
period.
The snow trooper from Empire Strikes Back is the first one I saw.
Snow Trooper. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do any of you remember lightsabers that you could purchase in the stores in the 80s? Anybody?
I don't know. Do you have one? Is this where we're going?
There's no way a kid from the if any kid from the 80s still has one of these, they never played with it. Okay? You could go into like Pay and Save, right? Which doesn't even exist as far as I know any longer.
Yeah.
And they would have essentially these bins that looked like wrapping paper. And it was a thin green or red plastic hollow tube with a cardboard handle. And when you'd swing it, it would go, whoom.
Hold on. I think I actually remember those.
Do you?
I think
But they
I
were
do.
so cheaply made. Any parent was like, no, they're trashing that in 2 seconds. I'm not.
I think I got one of those at like the local fair once, like when I was a kid.
And how long did it last?
I mean, 2 seconds, but still, because I hit like a pole or something that was broke, But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to think of some of the random
Yeah.
Star Wars toys that we, may have seen. And I would beg my parents for these things. I would be
Yeah.
like, yo, just get me a lightsaber. And they're like, no, go take all the wrapping paper off and just use the roll.
Well, yeah, because
right?
that's all we
Like-
used as kids anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it probably lasts
And those
longer.
breaking about, yeah. Especially if you got some of the harder ones, like you could hurt somebody with those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anymore,
so-
it's just anymore. Kids don't get to experience that now. You have to go buy them an actual lightsaber because it's not like an actual piece of cardboard. It's like just a firmly wrapped piece of brown paper anymore. It's not like actually a tube.
Sure. Yeah. So these were a thin plastic that went all the way down to a cardboard handle. That like in the store, I was like, "Woo!" And I'm like, "I'm a Jedi." You know, and my parents are like, "You are not a Jedi." I'm like, "I'm a Jedi. Buy this for me." They're like, "It's not working." I'm like, "Buy it."
You don't want to buy a lightsaber.
Yeah, they were basically not. They weren't having the mind tricks, but I tried. So anyway, I'm trying to find real random Star Wars things that we pull up from the past. But kind of speaking of the toys / movies, whatever you were into, like what this question will help. You guys will see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Which vehicle would you have loved the chance to pilot if you could get into the Star Wars universe? Now, I had different toys and everything, you know, so getting to touch and mess around with, I'm like, oh, that one would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. But, and I'll kick it off since you guys are just hearing the question. I think, and it's a tough question to just pick one, right? Because I mean, like driving an AT-AT or an AT-ST would be so much fun. But I always loved the speeder bikes. The way they were flying through the forest of Endor.
Oh,
Good way to kill yourself, right?
Oh, totally. You would totally be hosed. It just, I would die on a tree in an instant. But
yeah,
that like, that was always, and I ended up getting that toy set one Christmas and everything. And I've just always had, so anytime I see speeder bikes in, you know, Mandalorian or anytime, but what's funny, if they don't look like the ones in Jedi, I'm like, I don't know if that's really, you know, if they look like they've been to like one of those chopper reality TV shows, I'm just like, get that out of here. Like,
well, even the one Anakin rode, even the one Anakin rode in episode 2 was like, it's not the long front.
No. So yeah, I think I would have to, I mean, I don't know, a speeder bike for sure would be fun.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Mule? Where would you go? What would you?
Oh man, I mean, it has to be the Falcon or Slave One. Has to be either one of those. You just throw them like out in a field, and whichever one I saw first, I'd be happy to pilot either one of those. Like so freaking epic. Like the Falcon has so many feels, you know, and like I would say that's probably one of my favorite parts in The Rise of Skywalker. I think it's maybe it's The Last Jedi. When Luke walks back into the Falcon and like everything lights up, like I just get those nostalgic feels, you know? So
one good part to that movie. Okay.
That's me.
Nate, how about you?
I was going to say speeders because of course, I mean, I think especially if if you grew up with the originals, those speeders are just such a great scene and just the speed. But I'll change it and say actually from Last Jedi, the vehicles they're on in Crate.
Oh,
the skim.
Yeah, the skimmers or whatever.
I mean, for all the faults of that movie, the visuals of that movie are awesome, and that is so cool. Seeing the red sand pop up and just that type of that would be a fun vehicle to fly.
Yeah.
Crawler, how about you?
I mean, I lean towards where Mule was going, like Slave One, with what Filoni and Favreau did with showing us the inside rotating in Mandalorian season 2. I think that's so cool. And like the pilot section stays stationary, I guess.
Yeah.
And the middle rotates. So just being inside Slave One, I think, would be really cool. Falcon, not so much to fly, just to hang out, like, because you see the cross sections from like the old DK books and stuff like that you've seen. I'm excited when I finally can carve out enough time and I know where I'm going to put it to build the Lego Falcon, just so I can see more of the stuff that they've crammed inside of it for us to see.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing with Star Wars, and someone on the internet's trying to ruin it, being like, it's physically impossible to have the tunnel that long go into the cockpit and the circular body of the Falcon, yada yada yada. But I don't care. Like, just the middle section where Luke did his remote training, the board where Chewie and R2 were playing whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. It starts with a D, I think. And then even like going back to like Rogue One, even though that movie has its flaws, like Lando's closet, like there's a whole like bedroom stashed away somewhere in the Falcon.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool.
So many feels.
My real answer is a pod racer. Now this is pod racing.
Yeah,
but it's got to be Sebulba's, right? Fast. You go fast in Sebulba's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I meant Naboo Starfighter. That's what I was really excited about. You know?
Oh my gosh. Hey, so I got a random Star Wars question for us because it's almost Halloween. So I got to ask, this is kind of a Star Wars what if question. If Star Wars was a horror movie, what would your plot line be if it was a horror movie instead of a sci-fi?
We kind of got that, didn't we? Yeah. We got that in Mando season 1. That the breakout episode was kind of a horror movie, a little bit at the end.
A little bit.
The strobe light effects and Mando creeping up on people, taking them out.
I guess a little bit.
Thriller.
That's more of a thriller, like secret agent type feel for me. You know,
something with the Night Sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
it would have to be on Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, oh my gosh, that would be creepy. Did you guys ever watch the episodes in Clone Wars of the Night Sisters? Like, to this day, I still haven't let my kids watch those episodes because they're freaking creepy, dude. Like, super creepy. Because they're, like, doing all these chants and, like, zombies and...
Are they creeped out, or are you creeped out because of the zombies?
I think a little bit of both. Like I remember watching my oldest face when he was watching it, and he was, like... kind of like concerned on his face, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll probably wait on those. We'll just fast forward through these."
Don't they send like Savage and
oh yeah,
some of the other warriors into like a hallucinant, like they make them hallucinate stuff, right?
Well, in Rebels, there's definitely that. Like in Rebels, they actually possess.
That one is worse.
Yeah,
because my son was watching that episode of Rebels recently, and he's 6. He was not happy during that episode. He was fine during the Clone Wars ones with the Night Sisters and the zombie army.
Yeah,
not that one with the possession.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy too. Yeah, Josh, you're deep in thought.
I'm thinking I got 2 different ones.
Yeah,
the first one would be Palpatine for episode 7. Is just possessing different people and like doing the hack and slash thing. Like people are just getting chopped. Like he's just possessing any kind of lightsaber user and just going on a killing spree.
Yeah.
All right. And then the second one would be similar to the premise of like the Predator movie. That's like the one that had Topher Grace, which is just the worst. But instead of getting dropped on a planet with predators, they get dropped on a planet with rancors, and they have to work together in order to try to survive. And
I like it. Yeah.
Anything with more rank. I just want more rancors.
I think we found the setting of our horror Star Wars movie is on Dathomir.
Yeah. So if any of you guys are listening or watching, if you have any other thoughts on that, just tweet at us at the Bendu Podcast, because that would be kind of cool to see some people's like Halloween or Star Wars flicks. You know, the Lego Halloween thing is really good too. So you could go with that, like Darth Vader's castle. That would be a good one too. Because
I haven't watched that yet. Is it good?
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Lord Maulman.
Is it it's Lego Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, did you watch the Christmas one last year?
I think I started to, and then I fell off.
I got it.
I need to go back and watch
Let's hear it, Josh.
Well, we have a horror movie. It's called The Holiday Special. And
it's 20 minutes of growling at the front. Nobody gets through that.
Oh my God.
No. all of the younglings that Anakin murdered haunt him.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a picture of Hayden Christensen with the like grown up kid of the little kid that says, "Master Skywalker, what are we gonna do?"
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna die.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, just like Children of the Force. You
Yeah.
know, like instead of Children of the Corn or something. Just
Yeah.
That's a book in Legends. Is Children of the Force, I believe.
I knew that. I read it twice.
So we have no lore corner this week. But Josh, do you have a random Star Wars fact?
I feel like this has been an entire lore corner. Like we've
It kind of has.
that
Yeah.
book of Sith that's like lore corner galore. Say that 3 times fast. So random Star Wars facts. I started researching this because there is apparently I went down a little rabbit trail.
Yeah.
So you guys have probably heard the story of Leia, Carrie Fisher even, stepping on Jabba's tail with high heels, and it punctured the tail and stuck into the, like, basically stabbed the little person inside.
What? I didn't know this.
I've never heard this.
Like the
Okay,
actor, the
so-
puppeteer that was in it?
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
didn't Jabba take like 4 puppeteers?
It was a number of them, yes. So while clambering over Jabba the Hutt, one of the high heels that Carrie Fisher was wearing accidentally punctured the latex casing and pierced Mike Edmonds, who was operating the tail inside. Okay, so I had heard this and I was like, all right, I want to find out the details to this. Well,
Yeah.
in the HD versions that were recently, like the Blu-ray versions that came out, you can see throughout the entire Jabba sequence, he has an injury on his tail, and it looks like there's blood. Like there's here's a handful of screenshots.
They went in and post and covered up the hole.
So what the question that I ended up finding is somebody is asking, what is the deal with this wound, right? And so in the universe, the answer they're trying to come up with is that when Han stepped on Jabba's tail back in A New Hope, he split it open, right? Outside of the universe is when Carrie Fisher stepped on it, but they said that scene where she stepped over him was the last scene to get filmed with Jabba, so that if the latex got messed up when she was choking him, they didn't have to try to do any kind of reshoots. That was the last. Mule's mouth is agape.
Dude, I've never noticed this. This is I'm gonna have to rename this podcast Josh Blows Mule's Mind, like the whole episode.
So more than likely there's no in-universe answer to what's going on here, and it's more than likely just a seam in the costume, and in order there's a possibility they could not get it to stay together, and so they just put some fake blood on it and made it look like Jabba had a wound.
That's freaking
And-
cool, dude.
Well, I mean, more than likely it was done in post. If it's only because I wonder somebody's probably gonna have to scrub through the
So
VHSs
right.
and see.
Yeah, and this is like I don't even know where I found this. It's like sci-fi stack exchange.com.
Yeah, I put a link in the YouTube chat for everyone. So
Yeah, so there's a bunch of screenshots, and then there's all kinds of different, like, people giving different explanations on, well, maybe it was this, maybe it was and so pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, I had heard about the Carrie Fisher thing and her heel step, because apparently the story that I had heard, and I can't remember if this was a behind the scenes DVD watch or something, I don't recall, but he screamed because she like stepped on his head with the high heels. And
oh my
like,
gosh.
you know, like I want to say there may have been blood dripping down his face. Like,
Jeez, man.
yeah, it was kind of a violent thing.
Holy
So,
crap.
but again, that takes place after all the shooting, according to this article here. So
Yeah.
I didn't even
kind of-
realize she was wearing high heels in the. Well,
I know
didn't
where your
either.
eyes were.
wasn't everybody's eyes there? Like,
That's why you guys never noticed the tail scar because of the gold bikini.
there's no underwear in space, Josh. I mean,
Look, man, I was a kid. It was Carrie Fisher. I was like,
once you see her coke finger, you can't look away, though. Once you see that, when she puts her hand on Han's shoulder, on the
Not the one long nail.
yeah, she's got a long nail. I just ruined Jedi for Mule now. So when she puts her hand on Han's shoulder, when they're submitting their clearance code to get to Endor, she's got a long coke nail on her hand.
oh my gosh. I'm going to have to Google this now. I'm going to have to
Took
Google
that
it.
out. I wonder if Disney took that out, though. I wonder.
I bet you they had to have or something. That's
They clipped it.
oh
CGI
my
clipped.
gosh. Jeez. The things you learn in Rando Calrissian segment here.
Here's what's hilarious about this article, though. It says, after reviewing countless books, comics, and interviews about Jabba's fictional life between A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, the sole reference to Jabba's suffering any sort of tail injury seems to be in the revised 1997 special edition of Star Wars 4, where Han steps on Jabba's tail in one of the scenes that Lucas added in order to upset fans. Then it's crossed out, enhance the story.
Isn't New Hope? New Hope is 4 years prior to Jedi, right? In timeline,
I think so.
I think it's 4
I have to
years.
look
It's
back.
right around there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a long time to have a tail injury.
Yeah,
Dude,
so there's been some serious digging here, trying to figure out what the source of. I mean, my initial thought is I can't remember what's the little guy's name, the little monkey guy that's sitting.
Scandalous Crumb.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's the replacement for the one that bit Jabba. That's what I'm saying happened. Like, either that or maybe he's guarding the wound. I'm not sure, but
Look at this. I'm gonna put this in front of Crawler. Look at this nail.
Oh,
Look
did you
at that
find
nail.
it?
Look at that. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, you can't.
Good job, Josh. You ruined Star Wars for me.
Wait, what? I thought Crawler did. Why am I getting?
Oh,
the
that was
blame?
Crawler. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thanks a lot.
I
Crawler.
blew your mind tonight. Just remember.
That's true. All right. So, is that all, Josh?
We haven't talked about visions yet. We're like 45 minutes into this
I know,
episode.
we got to get into visions now. Okay. So the twins. It's a secret set of twins born into the dark side clash aboard a massive star destroyer. One steals a powerful weapon. During their epic battle, they make choices that will forever alter their destinies. All right. What do you guys think?
I feel like the end of this one, the moral of the story was, don't take Kyber Viagra, kids, because you don't know what it'll do to your body and lightsaber.
And apparently, if you're force sensitive, you can just exist out in space.
I
But robots need helmets to come out and get you.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's up with, like, literally, I was worried she was going to cross the streams. Like, what was up with that? It was like a Ghostbusters reference, right? And then little brother was like, uh-oh, I took Kyber Viagra also, and his lightsaber grew 2 sizes too big. Like, I don't even know what's happening there. And then her octopus lightsaber.
Yeah, that was a callback to Grievous. I was all right with that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But she did have
they wrapped all around. Like, what are they
well,
do? Like,
after
like
she
whips.
retracted him a
Yeah.
little bit later, and then did like the whole Grievous thing with an extra 2 sets of arms.
yeah.
and then they took parts of The Last Jedi that everyone loves, where they like
What's her name? What does Poe call it? The Hondo or no? not
Hondo maneuver. Yeah.
it's not worth remembering. And
Yeah.
so
Holdo.
Holdo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Holdo. Yeah.
yeah, so that yeah, it was just, and I mean, I don't know. It was kind of corny. Like, it just barely touched her Kyber Viagra and then exploded all over the place. Like,
It was like Dragon Ball Z in space, basically.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, aesthetically, I thought it was kind of cool, you know, getting to see the fights and stuff. But it was, and like getting to see her suit at the start, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. Like, you know,
Just waiting for him to go plaid speed. Like that's what I was waiting for.
but like the part when he's standing out on the X-wing, I was like,
at the end,
Well, as soon as he got ripped out of the X-wing, the first little bit, like she pulled a kyber crystal through a ship and him
yeah,
without breaking the ship, which
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Or him. And then he's just existing out in space, and then her suit breaks apart, and then she's existing out in space. And then they have a dark side, light side, lightning battle over a kyber crystal. The coolest part I will say, is you see her bleed the crystal, which is really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, you
Because
do see
that's
that.
something that
I thought you were gonna say credits.
Oh my gosh. I'm afraid to ask you what you ranked this, Josh. Oh my gosh, dude.
Fun fact,
45.
I only watched 2 minutes during the show, not the whole thing. So
Okay.
you know,
but
which is why we
like,
got 45 minutes. Sorry.
that's something we've never seen in any kind of visual form, is a kyber crystal being bled, which kyber crystals don't appear naturally red. They're colorless until they're discovered, and then they choose their color. But red crystals for Sith are bled. They're a regular kyber, and then they're bled to be red.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to
Still
see
haven't
her.
seen it. It's not canon.
Oh,
True.
dude, that is actually in the Darth Vader comic series. Darth Vader bleeds his crystal, but the Secrets of the Sith. I want to show you this, guys, because it's the first time we actually get to see it for Kylo and get an explanation for. Sorry, this is kind of a little off topic, but I had to show you. Let me find it.
Oh,
Real quick.
baby's first lightsaber. That's what we're gonna get to find out some information about.
This is you get to see a first image of him bleeding his crystal. You get to see him bleeding it and like his crystal cracking because he was torn in the Force as well. But it looks really cool. Like it's a really cool little graphic in the book. You know?
He's
Sorry.
definitely mad he couldn't figure out where the wires went and had to put it on the outside.
So he had to power that crossguard somehow.
Yeah. Well, that's why he had a cross guard, because it was so corrupted and broken, like it overflowed.
That's why it
Like him.
crackles.
Yeah, it was like him, you know, just torn. Anyways, visions, twins. So
Yeah.
surviving in
Meh.
space. It was a meh for you, Crawler.
What's
Yeah.
her name? Darth Octopus? Is that what we're going with here? Was he like
Stake
brother
on it.
Snorkel?
I know we were all kind of ragging on it at the beginning here.
Nate.
And
What
I mean, the mixing of the ships in the hangar, the Star Destroyer, and
Yeah.
They've
why
just
was,
been
why was he in an
captured.
X-wing?
Yeah. He is supposed to be Luke Skywalker. That's it.
He looked like, I mean, he definitely fit the archetype.
Yeah.
And of course, they're trying to power a weapon that can blow up planets, because it wouldn't be Star Wars without a weapon that can blow up planets.
Yeah.
I'd say
Fact.
the two Star Destroyers conjoined was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
It was like a didac or whatever.
I honestly thought when you were talking about the droid that was with the boy twin that he said Ardu, but it's Ardu or something like that. Ardu. And I
I
was
thought he
like,
said RTO. Like
I think it's like I don't remember, but
you guys were talking to me while I was watching, so I don't know
sorry.
exactly.
so apparently it's not one of our favorite. Would you put it above the Tatooine Rhapsody or whatever it was? Would you put it above it? No, you put it below it. Yeah.
I mean, there was some visual stuff that was super cool, right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, it was also like, I think this is probably why I don't watch the Japanese cartoons, because I'm just not like
Too
it
over
doesn't-
the top.
it was over visualized is what it
yeah,
was.
it's so over the top. And then that like he had the precision to slice all the way through that ship, but only barely touch her chest. Like,
Break her armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
like what? It should have just smashed her into the ship and broke the armor and had her fly into pieces or something.
She's alive. I know it. That's how it ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fact that he's sitting on the X-Wing that's just
Buried
done a
in the ground.
nosedive right into and he's just like, I landed it. Like, no, you didn't. That's not landing.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to agree. I think it was like a cool idea or concept, and art was cool and the visuals were cool, but that was about it for me. The rest of it, I was kind of like, eh. you know.
But there are probably people that like loved it, you know, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, awesome.
Like,
I mean, that's
if you-
great. I hope that is the case.
Like
I
I
hope
said,
there's
it's
some
like
people that are like, yo, I'm a
it's
Star
like
Wars
Dragon
fan
Ball
now.
Z Star Wars. That's what it was. You know, it was like Dragon Ball Z Star Wars. So if you like Dragon Ball Z, I'm sure you were like, this was awesome, you know. But so I gotta ask, what would you rank it 1 through 10? Gosh,
What did I give the one last week? Did I give it a 5 last week? I don't
I
even
think
remember.
so. Yeah, it was like a 5.
So
or
that's like a 3. This one's like a 3.
3.
I would
Nate?
like the time back that I spent watching it.
You were at least on the podcast. You were doing multiple things. So
I know I was writing notes and watching it. Yeah, 3's good. Like rule of 2, Crawler and I both go 3. So
Yeah, because what I gave last week's a 3.
something like that. Yeah.
wow.
So
He's going
2.8.
1.
I'll give it another 3. Just give them. They're both. Yeah.
I'll have to agree.
The first one was so cool and so good.
Yes.
Like, and it's even got its own like comic
book
now or whatever.
It's got a book. Yeah. The
Yeah,
Roman
I
Jedi.
mean, they started off so strong. So, I mean, I think we've all been slow to digest Visions, and we've kind of been watching as we go. Because it hasn't, like, the first one was so cool, but then, yeah, I haven't had a draw to go see more.
Just wait. There's some other good
Still,
ones.
it was
There's
still
some-
Mary Poppins, like
I mean,
Poppins.
Darth Poppins, that's pretty cool. I want that one at the Black Spire Outpost to buy.
Wait till we get to like the Ninth Jedi and the.
There are some promising ones later on.
Yeah, there are some really good ones later on, but yeah. So this one, I'd have to concur with the council here and go with a 3. So wasn't
Now
that great.
we're the rule of 4. That's not staying on brand.
We're the Jedi Council, bro.
We're the Jedi Council now, is what
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
We reached a consensus. The boy is
Well-
too old to be trained.
He's too old. So was I, if you remember. So, yeah. Cool. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. That was fun talking about Star Wars as always. For you guys that are watching us on YouTube, we really do appreciate it. And for you guys that are listening to us on the Audible Anchor, thank you for listening to us, or Apple or wherever you're listening to us. Make sure you visit MuleHornGaming.com to click on the podcast menu for more great podcasts like the Bendu Podcast and the Halo Infinite podcast that we do on Thursday nights on YouTube. Go check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe for more future episodes, and great, something like that. Just
More
subscribe.
episodes coming in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Just subscribe. Also, check out the description below for great ways you can support us. And remember,
The Force will be with you, always.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, Master.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us all.